In America, it was being paid $1,200. But this is a guy who had over $1.6 million in bank. So American DEA, CIA, including the FBI too. In fact, the FBI in particular decided to cut a deal with this guy. If he could give them some of those, he's been helping to launder their money. Tinubu. And in fact, there's a particular $1.6 million in your bank that, listen, if you can give us the names of your colleagues and the rest, give them up, right? We can make a deal with you. Rather than charge you for drug dealing, right? What we're going to do is that we're just going to deal with, we're going to charge you for non-declaration of the source of this, your 1.6 million, or not paying tax on it. Tinubu gave the names of most of his fellow drug dealers. And the drug dealers has been helping to launder money. He gave their names. So many of them ended up serving long time in jail. But they didn't stop there. Oh, this guy is also involved in the politics in Nigeria. How can we work with you? This is how Tinubu got recruited as an asset. And it wasn't long after that Abacha overthrew Shonekon, became the president, the head of state in Nigeria, chased the Americans away. Nigeria became a country with, so much sanctions, right? A pariah state. So they needed the likes of Tinubu and many others like him to use them as a sleeper cell that can possibly, if possible, to help them get rid of Abacha. This is like how Tinubu got recruited. This is how he became the asset of the. This is why he didn't go to jail. This is why he was never extradited. And when it was time, when Abacha started targeting him, when it was time, they got him out of Nigeria. That was how he ended up in the UK. You see, this story can actually make a movie. The story of Tinubu can make a movie in the world of today. And I'm saying this because there are like hundreds of pages of evidence of this Tinubu's drug dealing, heroin trafficking in the 80s, in the early 90s. Now, they filed a Freedom of Information Act case against the FBI in America to release, before the 2023 Sharedo, to release all the files of Tinubu. Guess what? There are over 10,000. This is not joke. Over 10,000 files on Tinubu. You see that one that David got us the last time? That's just a tip of the iceberg. They said like almost all of the agencies in America investigated Tinubu and his heroin trafficking dealings in America. Full-time drug dealer. But what saved him, like I said, was that when it was time to clamp down on them, he was already in Nigeria. In fact, he was already trying to contest as a senator in Nigeria, which he did contested. And he became a senator in Nigeria in 1992, 1993. He became a senator. So rather than extradite him for his crime, he got recruited and became one of the assets of the FBI, one of the assets of the CIA in Nigeria. So when David requested that they wanted Tinubu's drug dealing files in America, it came back as Tinubu is not just a Tinubu. No. He is deeper and deeper than what a lot of us have read about him. And because he's an asset of the CIA, almost an asset of the DEA, or let's say the asset of CIA to start with, the DEA, the FBI, and other agencies, right? They have to what? They have to seal his files. The only way Tinubu's file is going to make it to the public is if Tinubu stops supplying information to the CIA. There was a bomb blast in Nigeria near the airport, which actually in fact, in the airport in Nigeria, which actually killed 2 airport officials. This bomb was allegedly, set up by Tinubu, but it wasn't Tinubu who set it up. During that time, it was around the time they were looking for how to get Abacha. All these things are like snippets from all what Tinubu got involved in, right? In the effort of trying to get Abacha, Tinubu was actually supplying information to the CIA about the political development, about people, about friends, including some of the meetings he had with Abacha, because he was also closer to Abacha, even though they were claiming to be fighting for Abiola's mandate. All these things I'm saying to you may sound like, where did you get all of this? The documents are out there. But what they did was that during the last election, they were supposed to release all of that documents, whether it's going to work in your favor or not. They were supposed to release them. They were so close to getting those documents out. Tinubu now launched a court case. You know about it now. He launched a court case, a defense, that if they released all of his information, if they released those documents, it will have it will have a catastrophic consequences. That's what he said. So he succeeded because the Democrats, right? The Obama's the Obama's clique, the Joe Biden's clique. I'm talking about their clique that way. It will be in their best interest for other files not to make it to the public. And they did try to make sure it never made it to the public. The few ones they managed to release, they redacted it. Anywhere you see Tinubu's name, you have to blank it out. They make the old document useless when they finally actually said, okay, release them in parts. They released partially. But you know something? A lot of us have always been suspecting this. That their efforts, the level at which Tinubu, let's start with that of Boko Haram, the level at which Boko Haram destroyed Nigeria, the country that was already a country that was listed as one of the 3 fastest growing economies in the world in 2014, 2015. They destroyed it, terrorized it. In 8 years, it dropped and lost more than half of its worth. People lost their jobs, people lost their businesses, people lost their lives in 8 years. But you see the damages that Tinubu has done in the last 18 months alone will tell you that the intention of America is to ensure that Nigeria never, ever, ever make anything called progress, ever. This is not ordinary. So David and his partners, they went back to court this time around to overturn the court, the judgment of a Chicago judge, a Democrat, who ruled that Tinubu's name must be redacted. And everyone associated with Tinubu must be redacted from the FBI document that could have given you the full details of Tinubu's drug dealing in America. So as to make it more useless, when you are reading it, it's pure useless. You can't, you don't see the name. I'm talking about detailed how Tinubu's activity. You see the one that I mentioned, his wife. There is evidence of that. It is still online. Before they finally, when they realized that he could become president, and the only way to make him president, right, of Nigeria, which is good for America, to further destroy Nigeria at the time, was to make sure that all that releasing of that file, it was stopped. So they went back to court. Guess what the FBI had to say in court this time around? They said, yes, Tinubu may be the president of Nigeria, a public official. But the thing here is this. The Nigerians may want to know about the activities of their government, but they don't have any right to know all the activity of their president. CIA actually went to court and they gave a deposition to say Tinubu and his activities in America cannot be made public because they have an arrangement with him that they will protect his name, they will protect all his secrets. They actually said that in court, that it is the American CIA policy to protect the secret of their assets. Protect the secrets of our assets. President of Nigeria is CIA assets. You get that? That's what they have to put out there in a court document. Let me see if I can read this part. Right? The plaintiff suggests that Tinubu has forfeited his privacy interest because he is now the president of Nigeria. But public figures do not forfeit privacy interest because of their public status. This is the court document. They said, holding that public officials do not surrender rights to personal privacy, particularly where the interest is for details of third-party investigation. Okay? Relatedly, plaintiff asserts that there is a heightened public interest in the Tinubu investigative records because Tinubu is the president of Nigeria, right? So reading further. So the FOIA appeal that they filed, and because United States residents of Nigerian ancestry and the Nigerian press are interested in Tinubu's communications with the FBI, right? So they said, but it fails to appreciate that the only relevant public interest that weighs into the calculus for purposes of exemption is the citizen's right to be informed. Nigerians deserve to know, right? So, in part, here, they said, revealing the, let's go back to the top. They said the CIA does not reveal the identity of its human sources because revealing the identity of a confidential source could expose agency tradecraft, other human sources, and specific intelligence interests. I want to take this out so that I can read it further. Listen, they said, other human sources and specific intelligence interests and activities. Right? So Williams further explained, human sources, they are talking about Tinubu. Human sources can be expected to furnish information to the CIA only when they are confident the CIA can and will do everything in its power to prevent the public disclosure of their cooperation. In the case of a person who has been cooperating with the CIA, official confirmation of that cooperation could cause the targets to take retaliatory action against that person or against their family or friends. It also places in jeopardy every individual with whom the cooperating individual has had contacts. Thus, the indiscretion of one source is a chain of intelligence sources. Can damage an entire spectrum of sources. As such, confirming or denying the existence of records on a particular foreign national, like Tinubu, reasonably could be expected to cause damage to U.S. national security by indicating whether or not the CIA maintained any human intelligence sources related to Tinubu and identifying any access or lack of access any such sources had to intelligence concerning him. For these reasons, the CIA determined that confirming or denying the existence or non-existence of records responsive to the request could reasonably be expected to cause damage to national security. Further, this information is currently and properly classified and is therefore exempt from disclosure under FOIA exemption. This is the argument of the CIA. Now, the point here is this. The CIA in America, Central Intelligence Agency of America, just confirmed that exposing or accepting the FOIA request appeal of this Nigerian is tantamount to a threat to national security. It could cause Americans jeopardy to Americans' national security. And you know, America know they play with national security. Once they drop that bar, once they drop the ball of national security, they are caught and everybody will protect the American interest. But the message therein is that Tinubu is so neck deep as the asset of the CIA in America. The asset of the CIA in America is Nigeria president. Nigeria, the biggest, the largest black nation on earth, is a subordinate of an agency in America. That means everything inside Nigeria is right there, an open book to the CIA. So the Nigeria president is an asset to America's CIA. That is treasonable felony. That in itself, right, is an impeachable offense if Nigeria is a country. They may shut down my channel after this broadcast, but it's good that those of you who have the chance of listening to this, you will remember. You get it now? Because right now, we have a confirmation, which is that the president of Nigeria, who was supposed to protect the national interest, the national security of Nigeria, national safety of Nigeria, is an asset of America. So America, who have a compromise on him, will now continue, right, to help undermine the national safety, national security of Nigeria. So those of you who are claiming to be one Nigerianist, your president, Drogi Kolu, is an asset of the CIA, which means the only interest that will matter is the interest of America. No wonder he was willing, he was ready to attack Niger Republic, because those ones staged a revolution that removed another Western puppet, Bazoum, from power. He didn't consult with the National Assembly. He did not consult with the people of Nigeria. He just secretly, he was ready to go and attack Niger Republic and reinstate the person where they remove. This is scary. This is a court document. It is a court document. It is like actually an argument in an American court. So somehow, Donald Trump's planned withdrawal of the American American forces, bases, and all of that from this western part of Africa, if he actually does it, if he managed to do that, and some of these guys who are installing these puppets to undermine the growth of their own people, the growth of their country in Africa, maybe if this Trump comes in January, there could be some level of reprieve. They have a lot of expose to release anyway. We hope that then with an executive signature, this Tinubu's entire thing that Tinubu actually did in America can be released. Though you may think it won't have any real effect, but I believe that even Tinubu himself, who said in argument when he argued in an American court last year, he said if they release these documents, it's going to cause a serious damages. It's going to destroy him. Is it going to destroy him? Not just in Nigeria, but in America too. Because if Americans get to know that the brain behind the drug epidemic in some states in America is the person who is now the president in Nigeria, how do you think Americans are going to react to this? I'm just kind of like being curious now, just asking questions now. When Americans realize that some of their uncles, aunties, their children who became drug addicts with the drug epidemic, drug abuse and all of that in America in the late 80s and early 90s, that person was shielded by the American CIA, American FBI, and is the president in Nigeria today. Is that going to actually like lead to some backlashes? And those who are responsible in 2022 and 2023 who were responsible in blocking the American court from releasing those documents. Would the action of Donald Trump actually lead to some of them say, betrayal of America too? I'm talking about, in this instance, the blowback would be huge than what so many of us can envisage. I know some of us are saying that the American foreign policy is all the same, but these Democrats, this American under this Democratic Party, Joe Biden and his gang, they did everything in the last minute to block and shield Tinubu. And that wasn't an accident. Immediately, Tinubu got sworn in May 2023. Ray, what be that FBI director's name? Ray visited Nigeria to come and congratulate Tinubu. Yeah, there is an image of that. He went there to go and congratulate somebody who was behind the drug, heroin epidemic in Chicago, in some of these, American states in the late 80s and early 90s. He came to Nigeria to congratulate him. Now, they're arguing in American courts right now that his file cannot be released for the sake of national security in America. National security. I do hope, I'm just hoping that Donald Trump, that some of you claim you don't like, Donald Trump will be interested in this as well, as they launch investigation into the activities of the CIA, the activities of the FBI. Because in case if you have been following their politics, that has also been a big thing, in case if you don't know. Yeah. Remember that they raided Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's home in Florida, where they said that he left the White House with some classified documents, and to them, that's the crime. So meanwhile, he said as a president, he has the power to, as a president or former president, he has the power to actually move those documents. Now, he's interested in FBI activities. He's interested in CIA activities. If you have been following their politics, he is willing to purge them, the DOJ, Department of Justice in America. All those who sanctioned some of these civilian coup in Africa, those who sponsored puppets, criminals, to help them further, sabotage the growth of these African countries, including Nigeria, would they be exposed too? Apart from whatever the legacy media is feeding you, I am asking you to kind of look into this as well. Why would the CIA want a drug dealer to be president of Nigeria? Why did they shield him? Why did a Democrat judge, after all the evidence and what was at stake, said the documents, the file of Tinubu should be redacted, should not be released? Now, that man has become the president of Nigeria. He has destroyed Nigeria. He has destroyed lives. He has destroyed the people more. And he's still on it, doing it as we speak. So what is exact goal of the Democrats who did this to Nigeria? Because it all started from Obama. They have brought in somebody who is a jihadist, a terrorist, to come in a political party that is a political party of terrorists, APC, Egbekegbe, to destroy Nigeria. And they have done it. Only for them to also shield the drug dealer. Tinubu was supposed to actually, did you know that he never actually had the chance of going to America again? Until they package him and package him and repackage him. And today, the rest of Nigeria, they are paying the price. So I'm asking questions now. I'm asking questions based on what is publicly available. This is not a conjecture. This is not something that is being cooked up. Or no. These are available documents, publicly available information. So if there's something I am looking forward to in January, I am looking forward to this. Because right now, the Democrats are still the government in America. And I don't know the judge where they're having these arguments, the courts. Let me see. What court is that again? District of Columbia. Is that not going to be in Georgia? Eh? Shebi, District of Columbia, is that Washington, abi Georgia? Eh? Right. They are arguing in front of a court. Is Washington, abi? Good. Washington, D.C.